Hey guys, it's me, SD Vaughn, and I'm going to do another My Hero Academia discussion. And in this video, I just wanted to do a video just looking at the character Tomura Shigaraki. And that's just because of the more recent chapters that have occurred in the manga so far. And I just want to just have a little fun, just discuss Tomura Shigaraki, have fun, give my own little thoughts, and just discuss his character as it's led up to this point. I guess as much as I can, not in too much detail, and also just discuss what may happen to him going down the line as the story goes on. Especially after reading a lot of comments and other channel video on other videos I've been watching and forum websites and all that stuff. So I just really want to discuss it all and just have a little fun. Just make this video, just have fun, just talking about one of my favorite villains. I do like Tomura Shigaraki. Alright, so let's talk about I just want to discuss this real fast before I start talking about Tomura Shigaraki throughout this video. I mean, this also kind of connects to him because he was involved, because he was involved because he was fighting Star and Stripes throughout this little arc. So I just really wanted to talk about this whole fight with Star and Stripes. To really get me started off on talking about this, I think it was 6 to 7 chapter little mini arc of Star and Stripes, because she appears at the beginning of chapters 300, at the end of chapters 328, and then everything about her is gone by chapters 334, because her physical body dies in chapters 333, and the vestige version of her, the New Order Quirk, dies, gets destroyed, but all the numerous quirks of All for One in chapters 334. I just kind of hate that most of the panels, and also Shigaraki talking about how her quirk works, it was taken up for most of the fight. Like, it was just a lot of dialogue just talking about like, it was just a lot of dialogue just talking about how the quirk works and her limits and everything else. And then you also have him squish again her backstory. Well, not her entire backstory, but the backstory of her and what she was like, seeing her relationship with her brothers and all that stuff. And then just seeing the fact that All Might saved her when she was a kid, referencing to the first movie of My Hero Academia, Two Heroes. I think the entire thing is what Star and Stripes was pointless, because the only tangible real thing that she did narratively in the story that I think was that really makes sense is the fact that she calls the international heroes to not be a part of the story when they weren't a part of the story anyway, but narratively she makes sense for why the international heroes aren't a part of the story. And just due to the fact that it's too much of a risk to send their top heroes to Japan, because should Shigaraki and the other villains kill their top heroes, then this leaves their country one less hero vulnerable, or depending how many heroes they would send to Japan to help assist the other heroes there. So it'd be too much of a risk, and now America's lost their number one hero. That is going to make their country slightly more vulnerable and defenseless, because now their top number one hero with this really great quirk is now gone. Let's start off with this. R for One wanted to go after her to get her quirk, but now the quirk is destroyed. He doesn't even care. He's like, I got other plans and other routes, and that's understandable. But at the same time, so then what was the point of this arc? And then people will say, well, the point of this arc was to not only just nerf Shigaraki. She wasn't a plot device just to nerf him. She was also getting to have the international heroes out of the way, so they don't intervene, make the stakes even higher, because now it's just Japan on their own, having to not only fight all the numerous villains that have escaped from these various prisons by All for One, and then they also got to deal with all the Nomus, the Paranormal Liberation Front, the fact that if All for One decides to break out Gigantomachia and Redestro and Giten and all the other PLF members that got arrested, but you could take her entire arc out and it won't matter, because the situation is still the same as it was after the war arc / prison arc. There's still villains running around. They can't find All for One. All she did was give these guys a week of reprieve to train and get ready for the final battle. We don't even know if that's a week. The heroes are just going off the information that they can get. Any information that can be useful to them, they'll use to the best of their ability to do whatever they can to stop the villains. And so far, with this technology that the brothers of Star had, which I don't think was mentioned throughout the entire fight in these chapters, and they just happen to have this where they can scan Shigaraki and see all the quirks he was using, and they also see that her quirk was acting like a virus inside of him until Shigaraki's immune system, the other quirks, destroyed the virus. So they think they have a week, just like when after the war arc they thought that they had a month. Then that turned into 3 days. Then it turned to 1 day because of Shigaraki's hatred was progressing the merger. And then her vestige version tries to destroy as many quirks as it could. And so far, we only know one quirk that has been destroyed. We don't know how many quirks have been destroyed. So I guess we'll have to wait and see which quirks were destroyed. And depending on that, we'll see how more impactful Star has been to the story. I'll give her the fact that she narratively worked in the fact of why the international heroes aren't going to be a part of the story. But relatively anything other than that, it was kind of pointless. It wasn't really all that necessary to the story. I still liked the fights, and I did like her relationship with her brothers. I liked the way she used her quirk. I liked the whole laser sword and the solidify the atmosphere and make 1,000 time bigger version of me. So I thought that was pretty cool. But other than that, it was just pretty pointless and pretty she didn't really progress the story too much along, other than giving them what they think is a week. I mean, I'll also give her this: she damaged Shigaraki's quirk factor, and also caused him to be really done with All Might at this point. Like, he's done with All Might. Anything to do with All Might, he's pretty much done. So I will give her that. I will give her that. So it's not all bad. Some good that I did like. So, but ultimately, I just didn't think it was all that necessary. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on Star and Stripes. A number of things I did see people point out concerning the aftermath to the fight to Star and Stripes going against Shigaraki and his in this inquiry of his nerfing, is that I did see a lot of people point out the fact that he could just go after the physical main body of All For One. Like, he could literally just, whatever quirks he may have lost, whatever quirks his Star may have destroyed, he could just go and replenish and gain from All For One, who has a copied version of the All For One quirk, because he gave the original All For One quirk to Shigaraki, while he gave himself a copy of the quirk, which he used against All Might during their fight in the Camino arc. So whatever quirks that Shigaraki may have lost, and we still don't know which ones until whatever Horikoshi decides which quirks were destroyed, depending on how he wants to do the final battle against Deku and Class 1A and all the pro heroes and everything. Depending on which quirks, we've yet to see. I guess we'll see what happens with that. How Horikoshi will handle the whole quirk situation with Shigaraki. Because for right now, his quirk factor is damaged, so Shigaraki isn't doing much with his quirks right now. So until then, we'll have to see what'll happen, because it's up in the air, and that's the other thing. It's up in the air. Horikoshi could decide which quirks were destroyed. The important ones that we have seen Shigaraki use, or unimportant quirks that don't really matter to the story that we haven't seen Shigaraki use, so they won't matter because we've never seen him use it. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. And you know what? Deku might save Tomura Shigaraki, because it's been set up since the war arc where we got to see Little Tenko, or at least Deku sees Little Tenko inside the vestige space, looking like he needs help. And then we see Tenko again in chapters 334, after the vestige version of Star and Stripes, the New Order quirk, is being destroyed, and we see him utter the words of Deku's name, Izuku Midoriya. So it looks like it's being set up for where I guess he's going to really attempt to save Tomura Shigaraki. But I don't entirely think that's going to happen. And that's just because, Shigaraki knows who he is by this point. He knows everything he's done across the story. So he's fine with who he is. He knows who he is. But we also have this other personality of him, the Tenko personality that's residing in him. I mean, he even mentions that when he's starting to merge with the vestige version of All for One during his fight with Stardust Stripes, where he's saying, you know, I know that I'm Tomura Shigaraki, but I also know I'm All for One and I'm Tenko. I'm three different people. I don't really sure and fully know who I am. So he mentions Tenko as like a separate entity from, you know, Tomura Shigaraki, even though they're technically the same entire person. Just different, I guess, different personalities. But I still don't think it's going to quite happen. And I'm going to point out a lot of reasons throughout this video why when talking about Shigaraki. I just don't feel it. He knows who he is. He knows what he's done, and he's full well okay with it and everything else. You know, as we do see in the flashbacks of young Tenko wanting to be a hero, and also seeing him being super ecstatic to know that his grandmother is also a hero despite everything that his father is telling him and abusing him for about, you know, trying to discourage him from being a hero. He's glad to know that there was someone in his family that was a hero too. However, literally verbatim, during the war arc in chapters 282, Tomura Shigaraki, as he's fighting the heroes, he's literally saying to himself, there's nothing that can stop me, so long as I keep my origin and my dreams within my heart. And keep in mind, this is Tomura after he's regained his repressed memories during the MV arc after his fight with Redestro, or during his fight with Redestro. And also in current time during his fight, he's shooting a quirk erasing bullet towards Aizawa to erase his quirk so he could keep fighting the heroes with all his quirks. And he also kind of forced Aizawa to cut his leg off. So he's fully aware of who he is. He's fully aware of what he's done. He wants to keep moving forward just as he is now. I mean, he doesn't even view his family's deaths that he's caused as a child as a tragedy. He literally, I think he says that during the MVA arc. Like he just said, like he even mentions how, you know, how he wanted to kill his father, and that he doesn't view their deaths as a tragedy. So, you know, there's that there for Tomura. I mean, essentially, you know, Shigaraki even says, you know, all he can do is destroy. Like, all he can do is destroy. He wants to just destroy everything. I mean, he wants to destroy All Might. He wants to get rid of Hero Society and society itself. I mean, in chapters 235, when he's fighting Redestro, Redestro is asking what does he seek to build. Shigaraki isn't seeking to build. He's just seeking to destroy. That's what he tells Redestro. He's just seeking to destroy. He doesn't really care. I mean, well, he cares about his comrades. I mean, he even kind of expresses this when Toga questions him back in 222, asking him if he's going to destroy anything that she loves. When he's talking to them, the League of Villains, and Dr. Garaki, when Dr. Garaki warps them to his secret facility when they were fighting Gigantomachia, and he's just talking about a little bit of his backstory and, you know, how he's really feeling inside, and, you know, all these frustration, anger, and all this stuff. And when he's talking about, you know, just wanting to destroy everything, Toga's like, are you going to destroy everything I love? And Shigaraki's just, you know, tells her, you know, I'm not going to destroy anything you love. You guys, you know, the League of Villains, my comrades, my friends, you guys are the exception. I want you guys to live the way you want. So he does care about the League. Like, he even has that friendship with Spinner over games and whatnot. And that's what's also going to make me feel really interesting when I see him, find out that Twice is dead. He is literally going to lose it. He's going to lose it, and that's just going to further his anger that he's been having throughout the entire story. Other than that, like, he's a good example. Like, you know, he's one of the good examples of, you know, the society, you know, how Hero Society is. Like, he even talks about that when he was making his speech around chapters 280 and 281, where he's reciting what his dad was telling him. What his dad told him when he was still Tenko about, you know, heroes hurting their families to help out strangers. And he's just talking about how Hero Society is, that you know, the people are kind of numb to helping out others. They're just going to more or less rely on the heroes because they believe the heroes will always be there. Why do they need help? It's the heroes. That's what their job is for. You know, and they're also getting paid to do it. I mean, yeah, most of the heroes are doing it just to help out people, but they're also getting paid as well. So while they're also doing it just for the goodness, some of them are doing it for the goodness of their heart. They're also generally getting paid, and so, and because there's so many heroes now, the citizens, the people, they don't want to help out. Just like that old lady, when Shigaraki was walking the streets, and no one really helped him out, and the old lady's telling him, "Oh, a hero, some hero will come and help you. Somebody will come and help you. I won't help you. I won't ask any of these other people to help you. Those people won't help you either. A hero will come and help you. You'll be fine." Who came and helped him out? It was All For One. It was All For One that came and helped him out, and this started him on his road, his hatred for society, people in general. And granted, it's not just the heroes as well. The people are the problem as well, because after the war, people started getting angry at the heroes because while it was kind of the heroes' fault, they instigated this war. But Hawks knew what was going on with this war, and he couldn't let Shigaraki and them get to full power in the 4 months. So he couldn't let this happen. It would have been far worse should he have let it happen. So they had to do something, but they failed. They had a plan. There was a lot of things they didn't expect to happen, like Shigaraki waking up, Gigantomachia, and just other factors during the war. So it's kind of understandable in certain ways. Like, the heroes instigated this war. The villains weren't doing anything at that time. It was the heroes that busted into the secret meeting with the Paranormal Liberation Front, started causing this entire fight, which led to a lot of deaths, maybe some villains, and I know some heroes like Majestic and in Midnight, and possibly Fat Gum, or Gang Orca and Tamaki. We haven't seen those guys since they got ran over by Gigantomachia. I need to know if those guys are alive. But yeah. So so after that, this war caused a lot of heroes to hang up their capes and their masks, and all that, and stop being heroes because of the scrutiny they were getting from the people of society, which were the ones that kind of prop these heroes up, especially with but they're also the problem because they're not doing their part. That was something that was explored during after Deku's little solo arc when he's coming back to UA. Like, the people got to help out too. They're trying to put all this blame on him, and Araka has to tell him, like, he's fighting for you guys. Like, he's doing all this running ragged. He's just a 15, 16-year-old who's running out in these streets fighting all these villains for you guys to put a smile back on your face, and you guys are just berating him. Like, you guys aren't doing anything. Like, so it's also them too. Like, they're just saying things because they can, and just angry, and it's understandable because their houses and family members are possibly dead or destroyed, and everything else. I'm not going to say it's all of the people, but it's some of them. It's a large part of the society, everyone together, and sort of like that. But I got a little off track there talking about this. But yeah, Tomura Shigaraki is my favorite example of what Hero Society has done in My Hero Academia, because for him, it was a villain that came to help him out. It wasn't a hero. It was one of the greatest villains in the story that comes and kind of molds him, and kind of heats up his anger and frustration, and tells him to keep it, deep within, never forget that feeling, and it, just molding, guiding him on this way. I mean, Shigaraki himself, I believe it's still Shigaraki himself, his hatred for society, Hero Society, all in general, I think that's all him, but it's also All For One enabling him, guiding him, but also somewhat manipulating him along the way, especially like after Shigaraki gets the All For One quirk. He's kind of manipulating him in little ways, making him mutter One For All, kind of going after Deku for One For All. That part is the vestige version of All For One, kind of, personality kind of coming out through Shigaraki's body. And of course, taking over Shigaraki's body as well, and using it for the prison break and escaping the war. A couple of things that Shigaraki did not want to do. He did not want to leave the war. He wanted to keep fighting. And then he's just like, during the prison break, he's like, "Oh, master, I thought you wanted me to rest. Why are you having me rest? I thought you wanted me to rest. Why are we doing a prison break? I thought you wanted me to rest." And he's like, "I don't want to be your pawn." And All For One's like, "You're not a pawn. You're just the greatest piece on the chessboard. You're definitely not a pawn yet." at the end of the prison break arc, it's the physical main body of All For One saying, "This is the story how I become the greatest demon lord." So, and so it's I don't know where to start with that because their relationship, I think, is going to come to an end soon, and it comes to correlation when I was talking about the Star and Stripes fight, where when I said early in the video that he could just go take quirks from All For One for any of the quirks that Star and Stripes may have destroyed. And I think he's also going to go after All For One just out of pure hatred. Because we did see during the war arc when they were in the vestige space with Nana, the first user of One For All, Deku, and All For One, of course, and Shigaraki, on this vestige space with Shigaraki and All For One trying to take One For All from Deku, that we could see the immense hatred of Shigaraki, and it's also kind of creeping up on All For One, and All For One's like, "You hate me too, don't you?" That's fine. He's egging on Shigaraki's hatred. He's fine with Shigaraki hating him. He's fine with just, Shigaraki's hatred just exploding, because not only did it help bring Shigaraki back to life and during the war arc, but it also is helping the merger between himself and the vestige version of All For One into becoming an entirely new being, which the physical main body of All For One can feel the hatred inside Tomura Shigaraki because of this merger, and he mentions that during chapters 335. So I feel like eventually Shigaraki's going to be done with all the, the manipulation and scheming of All For One, and wants to be in charge. He wants to be the one in charge. Because he's the one that wants to destroy Hero Society. He's the one that wants to destroy All Might. He was the one that just wants to and probably get rid of Best Genius. No, not Best Genius. Get rid of Hawks for killing twice. I'm pretty sure Davi's going to show him the video. So it'll be interesting to see if that's how it goes. I really think he will attack. I think he's going to kill All Might. I think he's going to kill All For One, the physical main body, and probably eradicate the vestige version of himself, while still keeping All For One quirk. I don't know how that's going to work, because if you destroy All For One, he gets rid of the All For One quirk, the vestige version anyway. So we'll see how that goes. Or maybe just remain in control while, still keeping All For One locked up somewhere in the vestige space. Or something like that. Something akin to that. So we'll see what happens. But I'm excited to see where that goes, because this dude has so much anger. He has so much hatred. And indirectly, too, like Hero Society kind of affected his dad in a way, because of Nana Shimura, like Hero Society, in a sense, that's why his dad's always saying, heroes help hurt their families to help out strangers, and that's a part of Hero Society. In that she wasn't trying to hurt Kotaro, or Kotaro, however you want to say his name. She wasn't trying to hurt him, but she needed to keep him safe because of All For One. Even though All For One would later find, her grandson and turn him into the next symbol of fear, she indirectly kind of hurt him. He never took the time to process or, anything like that. And of course, all the other heroes were forced to stay away from her son. They weren't allowed to look for him or find him or anything like that, which was another huge problem. That if there were heroes around him, he probably would have seen how much his mom cared about it. That he has other heroes that were friends with his mom that are going to keep him safe, and along those lines. But there were problems and issues that he never really dealt with, that he took, that he kind of took into his adult life, and then lashed out with onto his children, which would then turn Tinko into the person that he is now. But yeah, and that's it's especially like when she meets Shigaraki in the vestige space. Shigaraki's like, "I don't care how we got here. I hate you too, grandmother." Like, he knows who his grandmother is. He saw a photo of her when he was a child and knew that she was a hero, and he was excited about it. Now, an adult version of Shigaraki, after all the events, decaying his family, everything else, and he sees her in the vestige space. And he's just like, I hate you too, grandmother. I hate you too. He hates his family. He doesn't care. He's fine now. Like, his family is the League of Villains. His family is the League of Villains. He cares about them. So, like I was saying, it's going to be All For One who's going to die. It's going to be All Might who's dying. Most likely by Shigaraki himself. And it's going to be Hawks that's dying too for killing one of his friends twice. And I'm interested to see how that's gonna go down. So I really like his character, and I also like his quirk. I like how his quirk used to be like he had to put all 5 fingers on you to decay you. Now he can just put like anything that's, you know, when he starts his decay, anything that's touching it will also decay as well. His power just awakens once he releases his repressed memories. So that was kind of cool. So yeah, this is just me just, you know, having fun talking about a character I like. What do you guys think is gonna happen to Tomura Shigaraki? I mean, right now his quirk factor is kind of damaged, so he'll be out of commission for a while. And of course, the whole trader thing that's going right now in the manga. I don't know if I'm gonna really talk about that. It was a long-awaited plot, and now that the reveal, I don't really have much to say. I never really, you know, like. I don't know. I guess I want to first see how it plays out. But what do you guys think is going to happen to Tomura Shigaraki? How do you think that will this final battle play out with him and the whole quirks being destroyed and his whole relationship with All for One? How do you think that's going to change or affect going forward in the story? Because there's no way that they're going to share control of the group. It's gotta be Tomura Shigaraki destroying All for One to retake retake control and assume the role of the big bad villain, because it's going to happen. It's not going to be All for One that's going to be the big bad villain. Because inevitable war is coming, and in all different sides. So I guess we'll see what happens, and what's going to happen with the heroes. Is UA going to be totally safe? That's going to be interesting. And what other plans does All for One have? Like, he literally says in chapters, 336, I want to say, 336. He's talking about how he has so many different routes that, it doesn't bother him that he couldn't get New Order. It won't bother him if the traitor gets found out. So I wonder how the plans will work out, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. But let me know what you think about everything going on with Tomura Shigaraki and My Hero Academia. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are having fun watching whatever anime or cartoon that you're watching, whatever manga or comic that you're reading, whatever TV show or whatever you're doing. I just hope that you guys are having a good rest of your day, and just thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys later.
Repent and die! Win!